This conference will now be recorded.
Please stand for the prayer and the Pledge of Allegiance.
Heavenly Father, I thank you for all these people that are here today. I pray, Lord, that we go into this meeting with open minds and open hearts and understanding, Lord, about this community and the dreams we all have for it. I pray, Father, that we can get through this and really walk out of here happy. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Check out there for boot.
The June 25th, 2026 Happy Trails Community Association Board of Directors meeting is called to order. Roll call, Darlene?
Jennifer Ellswick, President.
Here.
Becca Paulson, Vice President.
Here.
Cliff Giroux, Secretary.
Here.
Fred Rand, Treasurer. John Chilcote, Director. Thank you. We've met quorum.
Thank you.
Homeowner statement period guidelines. Speaking time. Each homeowner may speak once per motion for no more than 2 minutes. Virtual attendance. If attending virtually, please keep your radio muted. To speak, raise your virtual hand, and when recognized, state your name and lot number, just as you would if attending in person. Purpose. During an open meeting, members have the right to comment on a pending motion prior to the board's vote. This is a time for comments, not a question and answer session or debate. Relevance. Comments should be focused on the motion currently under formal discussion. Conduct. Negative or personal remarks directed at fellow residents, association employees, or members of the board of directors will not be permitted.
Thank you.
I move that we approve the minutes from May 28th, 2026 Board of Directors meeting.
Second.
Directors, any discussion? All in favor of approving the minutes, please signify by saying aye.
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 Thank you.
I move to accept the March 31st, 2026 and the April 30th, 2026 financial reports.
You second it?
Darlene, would you like to?
Operating $709,937. Reserve $4,549,632. Activities $270,433. Clubs $160,286. Asset improvement $1,607,289. And reserve capital improvement. And then Becca, if you could please address the membership on the different funds.
Hello, everybody. I am going to make a presentation on our funds because I'm thinking that a lot of us here don't quite understand how they work and what each one is for, and then where each one is at this point in time to help understand that we really are financially sound and that we do only spend certain monies out of certain funds and so on and so forth. So this is the first of probably many presentations that will be done on this subject. So first of all, I'm going to start and talk about our funds. What different kinds of funds do we have? First of all, we have the operations fund, and it is comprised of 75% of our HOA fees that we pay every month. In addition to that, there's all kinds of other income that comes in there. There's interest, RV storage, fees for other services, lot transfer fees, and so forth that are deposited to that fund. Then the expenditures are comprised of all operational expenditures for Happy Trails. They include salaries, utilities, regular maintenance, repairs, including water breaks, which are not insignificant, insurance, legal expense, landscaping, pass-through expenses. The income includes pass-through income that is charged to each of us each month. The expenses come out on the expense side. Post office services, income tax, and so forth is paid out of this fund. So the general operating expenses come from operations. That's the one you see every month, like when you get the Nosy Coyote and the financials and so forth are posted, the ones that are posted online, that's operations. We have several other funds that I want to go through with you. First of all, reserve funds. I know everybody's heard about our reserve funds. This is where we pay for all of our long-term type maintenance on the buildings, remodels, refurbishing landscaping, all the pool information stuff that needs to be done. Essentially, the definition is these funds are a dedicated long-term savings account. Remember, savings account to be used exclusively to pay for major non-routine capital repairs and maintenance, structural replacements, exterior renovations, amenity upgrades, and replacing items such as HVAC systems, plumbing systems, major landscape upgrades, etc. All of these types of items are listed in a reserve study that we have a company come. They come once every 3 years. They do a report every year that lists all of our major assets. The things that are listed on this major asset list, which the report is out on front steps, anybody can look at it, are the things that we pay for out of the reserve funds. Those are the only things we can pay for out of the reserve fund. I want to make sure everybody understands that. We can't use it for just willy-nilly anything we want to use it for. Next is asset improvement funds. The income from this fund is generated by an assessment charged to new owners upon close of escrow. This fee equals 12 months of the current monthly assessment. This money goes directly into the asset improvement fund. And per our CC&Rs, it's section 5.16, these funds shall be used to support repair, replacement, or improvement of current assets or provide additional assets that are determined to be necessary and cost-effective for the benefit of the association. For instance, if we want to, down the road, want to maybe think about building a new building, and we need some money to get like the architectural work and so forth, whatnot done. I'm just making this up, so it's not anywhere in anybody's agenda. We could use money out of the asset improvement fund to help fund that, so we wouldn't have to do a special assessment. The other reason we have an asset improvement fund is kind of what you would call our ace in the hole. If something catastrophic happens, we have that money that we can use to help offset the costs of whatever happens. That's one reason we've determined that $1 million will always be in that fund to help us have money to fund any major catastrophes that might come along. And so all the owners will not have to bear the brunt of all the cost if something like that should happen. We also have one other fund. It's a newer fund. It's called the Club Reserve Fund. We've just established this. It was established a couple of years ago. The interest earned from the Asset Improvement Fund is moved to the club reserve fund. And this fund is supposed to help fund special equipment, even just new equipment that clubs need to support their activities and cannot fund it themselves. It may be a very expensive piece of equipment. Maybe it's $10,000, $12,000. Well, their dues will not cover that. They do all their maintenance, they do all their upkeep and so on. But when a piece of equipment quits, and maybe it's a major part of whatever it is they do, you take lapidary, you take sawmill, there's all kinds of places that have big equipment. They can go to this fund and ask for support and help to pay for those pieces of equipment, or maybe it's new shelving. Maybe it's, I know Glassworks wanted a new kiln, and they had to do some building work or some work on the room, electrical and so on and so forth. They asked for some help with that. So that's the type of thing that fund is for. Okay, so it's kind of hard to see that up there, huh? I don't know what we're going to do. Maybe up here they can see it better. I have done a worksheet, and I apologize. I thought it would show it better than it does. This is a snapshot of our funds at May 31st, 2026. What I did is I went through our financials at the end of May, and I pulled some numbers as far as how much income we've had so far, how much in expenditures. There are some things that have to be moved, which I'll go through, and then what our balances are at 5/31/2026 for each of the funds. How much money do we have? How much cash do we have in those funds? So people will better maybe understand we're not broke. We do have money. Can only be spent certain ways, but we do have money. Anyway, for operations, through March or May, we brought in $4,212,458. That does not include the interest, of which we have earned $11,008. So the total income, $4.2 million. I'll just make it easy. Expenditures so far through May was $4,289,581. So we were somewhat in the hole on operations by about $60-some thousand. After looking through some of the expenditures, there are some things in there that can be moved and will be moved in June before the end of the year. We are moving, for instance, we did some drainage projects over in Villas. There's $35,000 right now that's in operations that needs to move to asset improvement. That is improving our assets. That's why it's going to go to that account. It's not anything that's listed on the reserve study. It will eventually be put there. You have to pay for it first, and then you can add it to have it maintained in the reserve fund. There's also tree trimming. This was a major tree trimming. I don't think we'd had it done for, who knows how many years, 10 at least, maybe more than that. That was almost $43,000 that will move to reserve because we have a line item in reserve for landscaping every year, $40,000. Then we have some concrete repair that needs to move. That was $12,140. There's also a line item for concrete repair each year in the reserve fund, and so we will move that to the reserve fund. There's a little bit of other landscaping that we are going to move, $33,147, that will also move to reserve fund. So bottom line is, at the end of May, once we do all these transfers, we show a small profit, I hate to say profit, revenue over expense, because we're supposed to be nonprofit, of $56,767. So we are not in the hole as of the end of May. And I anticipate we will be fine in June because other than utilities, electricity in particular, our expenses go down in June a little bit. Then we move over to reserve fund. The Finance Committee suggested when they did the budget for 26-27 that we not spend more than 85% of our reserve fund that we get that comes in each year. The board agreed to that. So each year now we can spend up to 85% of the money in there to fix our assets here that need some TLC, shall we say. For many, many years, all we've done are roads and roofs. There are many things here that need an upgrade, shall we say. They need to be repaired. We need new pool decking. We're working on the town center pool. We're doing new striping on the roads. We're just doing all kinds of things that we've already started doing to improve the looks to make this more like a resort. So the total of the 85% that we could spend was $996,834. You have to remember, money goes into that fund every single month. 75% goes to operations, 25% goes to reserve. So it's building throughout the year. The total amount that we deposited, that we have deposited or will deposit by the end of June for this year was $1,280,000. That's quite a bit of money. That goes to reserve this year. Next year it will be slightly higher because the fees have gone up. In addition to the amount of money we can spend, we have earned interest of $139,000. That's also in the reserve fund that can be used to fund any of our expenditures that qualify for reserve fund. Some of the items I mentioned before are moving to the reserve fund, but even with those items put in and what we have expended so far in reserve fund, which is $482,000, we still have at the end of May, $569,938 this year's money in reserve that we can use to improve our assets here. And that's what we're trying to do today in all the projects that we have brought forth to recommend improvements to our community. It still leaves us about $200,000 left over. Whatever's left over goes to the fund balance. Our fund balance, which is the cash on hand at this point in time, actually at the end of May, was $4.5 million. We have a lot of money in reserve. We're funded at 51% right now. That's why we're adding money each year to get our funding ratio up to about 70% eventually. The next fund is asset improvement. This year we brought in $274,475. The interest on that, which was $35,600, moves to Club Reserve Fund, so we don't have any interest. We just have the money that new owners have paid this year. So far, we've expended almost $87,000 out of that fund, still leaving us $187,500 from just this year. In total, as of the end of May, we had $1,593,000 in this fund. For Club Reserve Fund, there really has not had been any expenditures that have hit it yet, but we have $80,000 sitting in that fund. So I just wanted to explain a little bit. That's really all my presentation, but I wanted to explain a little bit about what monies we have, how they can be expended, and what we're trying to do to use them in the most appropriate ways. I'll take a couple questions if anybody has any questions right now, or if you want to. This worksheet and my presentation will be on Front Steps later today, and it will be going out in a blast. Feel free at any point, if you have questions as well later, you can feel free to contact me. Yes? I can't hear you. No, at 70%, yes. Because we account for that because as long as I've lived here anyway, which is 6 years, and probably longer than that, all we have done are roads and roofs. Roads and roofs, what we spent each year was higher than what we had in reserve. We dipped into our reserve fund balance. We had to use that money to do all our roads and roofs. That's why we had it. Now that we're done with that, we still want to do other projects that were put off because we were doing roads and roofs, but we also want to build that fund back up. 51% is a fair balance. Not good, but it's fair. I really, at least my opinion, and I think most of the board is we need to still work on things that need to be improved. We can't let it all go to seed, so to speak. We do not want to be a trailer park. We're a resort. So that's what we're trying to do, to build it up slowly, to not ever expend all the money we have in reserve. For any emergencies, if it's a reserve item, we have the money for it in that fund now. Any other questions? Okay, thank you.
We have a motion. We have a motion to approve the March 31st, 2026 to accept. We have a motion to accept the March 31st, 2026 financials and the April 30th, 2026 financial reports. We've had a second. All those in favor of accepting the 2 months financial reports, please signify by saying aye.
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 Before we go on to old business, I am making a motion to table number 6, which is approve removal of Lisa Day from the Finance Committee. This was a motion requested by Fred, and unfortunately, Fred is having connectivity issues today. So based on that, we will table this motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor of tabling this motion, please signify by saying aye.
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 He's on it like a 10-second delay. Okay, Cliff.
I move to approve the proposal from Southwest Gates for the installation of access management system in an amount not to exceed $172,000, which includes an annual service fee of $96,000. The installation cost, including the annual service fee, shall be paid from the Asset Improvement Fund during the first year. Beginning in subsequent years, the annual service fee shall be budgeted and paid as an operations expense line item.
Second.
Cliff, do you want to talk a little bit about the history of this motion, where it's been? And
yeah, and I just got an understanding on it last night. Access management, well, got the idea that we're going to get these key fobs or a card, and we're just going to be losing them or having to give them here or there. Access management is going to be an app on your phone, and that will be it. You just get your app on there, and you'll get through the gates, you'll get through the doors. At 10 o'clock at night, your access management will not get you into the doors you're not supposed to be getting into, such as the pools, any of the other entertainment deals. It pencils out to about $4 a month for us to have that access management. It will keep our security guards from having to make a trip around in the morning to unlock doors and to go around at night to relock them. It'll keep people out of so many different places where they shouldn't be in. You have a guest come in, they get the access code or card. When they, when they leave, that will be done. It's zapped and it's not going to work, correct? Yeah. So I think it's a great access management portion, and I think it's a great asset to our community to keep a lot of people out that are just driving in and they're letting them through. So my vote is, yeah.
Thank you, Cliff. Just in addition, later today, there will be an e-blast that includes all of the benefits that Cliff has just been outlining about access management. Directors, do you have any comments? Owners, would you like to comment?
Don Mosier, 476. I think the whole idea is great, sounds good, but what are you going to do about, I mean, the guests? I'm hearing that the guests are going to get that on their phone. I'm not quite done yet. I've got this further, but right now we have transponders going in and out of the gate. We have people coming in, renting a little bit, maybe not always getting the thing minused out when they leave, and people are still using those. And I've heard conversation where they said, well, you know, my kid comes in and sees me and I got him a transponder. I think we need to make sure that if we're going to have that kind of an access management, that you think about that and make sure that people that shouldn't have them should not have. I don't know if a guest, how long does a guest have to be in to get one of those?
As soon as that guest comes in, checks in, they will get it. As soon as their time is up, let's say somebody comes in December 1st to May 1st, that access management card will get them in and out. May 2nd, that thing's disabled. They can't come back in.
I guess I'm done.
Laura Couture, 7-Eleven. I know the blast is coming out, but I have no understanding of what you're saying. Access, I'm going to give the example. I use NC2 Pool in the mornings. You're saying I need a phone to access this? Or is it just that the NC2 Pool will be opened automatically with this system and I can walk in as usual?
You may use an app to get into, you may use your phone and an app to get into the NC2 pool. If that is not convenient, we will also have I want to say, think of like a key fob, but it's probably more like a card that would also grant you access.
And I can wear that around my neck in the pool. It's waterproof.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. And I won't strangle myself.
Hopefully not.
Okay, because when you're talking phones, I'm saying I'm not taking a phone to the pool. I mean, it's just that simple.
There will,
Okay.
we believe, we don't know, but we believe that most people will use the app on the phone because you just have the app, you know, and it's there. Most people carry their phones, but there will be the other option should you not want to use the app on your phone.
And when will you reassess how well this is working, if at all?
We will probably look at it when we have to review in a year, but once we install the software, it will probably be good to go until we come up with until someone comes up with a better plan for other
And
software.
then will you keep track of all the complaints the owners and residents have to determine whether it's successful or not?
For sure.
Okay, thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you.
Greg Pratt, lot 99. Curious as far as, we have expenses for the guard shack. They do a service for us. We keep taking things away from them. Do our costs get cheaper with the guard service? Does the cost go down? These guys not doing things? You keep taking things away from what they do, and our expenses go up. I don't understand this. Why don't we do something with the front gate as far as those, when people come in here, and go with that aspect, have it chased with the guard shack. That's their duty, to take care of us in here, entrance and exit. So and my thing is, the guard shack, we make it very easy for people to come in here and get out, no problem. Let's put a little more effort in to keeping people from coming in here. Make sure it's up to snuff, they're up to snuff. And instead of just keep adding these things, for one, my phone will not do an app. I have no interest in an app. And the key fob thing, you're going to lose it. And that's just an added expense. Every time I lose it, I got to pay for it. Added expense. And I just disagree. I think there has to be more done with the guard shack and having them have a little more responsibility for the amount of money we pay. Thanks much.
Thank you.
Good afternoon, Jimmy Massey, lot 507. The issue I have is currently on a lot of our rooms around the area in the resort, we have a push button combination type of entry. Those are around $100 a piece, far less expensive than the upgrades that the board wants to make. If there was a study done about this new system you want to go to, was there also a study done on why we would want to replace these combination locks? And were the combination locks effective? If they were effective, why do we need to upgrade? If they were not effective, then why have we not removed them? And that's all I have to say. Thank you.
Thank you, Jimmy.
Good afternoon. Donna Wisdom, lot 379. I've done, and so has a couple other people that live here, a study on just checking around the vicinity in Surprise to see how many people have security things like the access, the key fobs, okay? Okay, thank you. Happy Trails is the only 55 plus community that does not have a security system to protect us. And there has been way too many things going on in the last 6 years that I've been here, almost 7, that we need some kind of security. So I am all for this. I understand people don't have phones and I understand people don't understand the apps, but we can do the card. And for $4, I'm all for it. Thank you.
Thank you, Donna.
One of the things that Marie Beshan, lot 900, one of the things I haven't heard you emphasize enough, I think, is the ability to turn these fobs apps off. And one of the things that I've heard the residents say time and time again over the years is the speeding challenge that we have here in the resort. And I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, that wouldn't it be great if we could hinder that by notifying the office or each other or somehow that so-and-so was speeding and turn that person's fob off.
What an interesting concept. Thank you, Marie.
Is as well as other situations. That ability alone is a plus on these fobs.
Marilyn Sorensen, Lot 14. Let me just tell one incident came across where a woman was in the Cascades, I think it was, or NC1, and there was a young man and a woman in there, and they were stealing all the toilet paper and paper towels. Now, I don't know what was going on at their house, but they needed a lot of paper product. And so, there was nothing to prevent them from coming in. It was evening. She was by herself. There was no way she was going to stop it. I really like the idea of the security where we can turn the fob on and off, and only people that have them can access the facilities. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Marilyn.
Doug Doty, Lot 630. Being a member of the BGM committee, being the chair for the last year or so, we initiated this because of safety and trying to get access for handicapped people getting into some of these facilities, namely the pools. And as discussions grew and carried on, it expanded. And now it's come to this. At a town hall meeting a few months ago, I came in a little late, but at the very end, we were talking about security and safety. Hence the story that was just spoken about. And it really got to me that we need to do something. So that's why we initiated with 3 different companies to come on board, give us a price, give us their best product, best bang for our buck, and having the security, even though we're gated, we're wide open. We're wide open. And security, yeah, they do a job, but they can't monitor everything. Some of our houses back up to the golf course, and people get in. There's been vandalism lately from the golf course. So we're just trying to protect ourselves with the assets that we have here, putting in the types of locks that we recommended at BGM. And the one gentleman spoke about the push button. Yeah, that is one way of doing it. But how do we monitor that with 2001 lots? Do we use our lot number to get in there? Well, people from the outside will have a choice. I'm just going to use number 630. All of a sudden that unlocks. It can't work that way, my friend. It's tough when we're in a situation like this in a community like this. Any ideas that we heard, that we came up with, that you came up with, we took into consideration the key fobs, the little card that hangs on our necklace, fob, whatever you want to call it. And it's going to cost no matter what. Safety is a big issue. This day and age is not when we were growing up as 10 and 12-year-olds. It's changed, as you well know, and it only gets worse. So we need to start controlling it now. This is our best option. Close things up at 10 o'clock. Open them up according to the season and go from there. Yeah, our security guards are going to be patrolling yet. And they are monitoring, and there is a shut-off system for visitors. So if they're only in here for 2 weeks, that's when it gets shut off automatically. So thank you for your time.
Thank you, Doug.
Hi, I'm Terry Clough from lot 357. I'm sitting over here and everything seems fine. You know, the key fob really sounds good. But then when someone stands up and says, can we shut it off because somebody reported someone speeding? Or can we pay for our amenities? And if you're not following the rules, that should be handled some other way. You can't just nilly-willy shut off someone's access to the bathroom and shower or it because they're speeding. My blood pressure went out over my head over that statement.
I think we're talking about the gates, not the rest of the buildings, just the
The
gates.
key fobs are supposed to be for the buildings, aren't they? The pools and the bathrooms and all that, aren't they?
Yes, but you can shut off the gates and not
Okay,
the
but
rest.
if this is just going to be used to take people's privileges away because someone thinks they're speeding, I don't think we should do that. Just my opinion.
Thank you. This is a roll call vote. Oh, I'm sorry. We have one online.
We have 5 online. Aaron, go ahead and unmute yourself, please.
Okay, did that work? Aaron Brown, lot 536. Yeah, a whole bunch of this stuff just, I'm not sure about. I think homeowners should have a vote in accepting this program. And I think when you get all the information out that you're talking about doing after the fact, I think they should have it before the fact. I think homeowners should vote if they want to go this way as an option. Control starts at the gate. And security maybe need to do a better job of letting people in and not letting delivery drivers in at 10 at night and 6 in the morning and 5 in the morning. So there's a lot of levels that can be of security. I don't think push buttons, on like the billiard room, that's fine. It works like that. And if you change it once a month or once a year, you can use a zip code or something that's common. It's not going to be everybody's lot number, like whatever Doug was saying. I don't like the idea that you can have power control over shutting off any of these amenities at any time you want for any reason. Like the lady saying speeding, okay, maybe speeding is not going to do it, but maybe they need to pull their weeds or something, or they're not complying. I don't like the control and power issue with that. And also you said you can shut this off at 10 p.m. Can't us as owners go into any of these amenities anytime we want? That's another thing. But I think and then the expense, okay, you save $4 a month. That's phase 1. And as this goes on and on and on, there's going to be increased costs. So I think before we go ahead and, decide to do this at the expense we want to do it and approve it before we actually get all the information, how you want to control this and look at it and put this information out, all the benefits, pros and cons, I think that should go to the owners first, and the owners should have a vote. So maybe in the fall, the owners can vote on this project. They'll have plenty of time to review it and look at it and have more questions than just the few people that are here in the summertime. That's what I have to say.
Thank you. Thank you for your comments.
Thank you.
Do we have others?
Yes. Debbie, go ahead and unmute yourself.
I have 2 things that I'm concerned about. One, if we're signing some sort of a contract, is there going to be an exit clause that we can get out in case something actually ends up not working well at all? And second, we have a rule that says we have to accompany our guests to the pool and to other places. If we load this app on their phone, there'd be no need for us to go with them. And I thought that's a violation of a rule we already have. That's all I have to say.
Thank you.
Go ahead, Roberta. You can unmute yourself.
Yes, good afternoon, everyone. I'm hoping I can give a little context to answer some of the concerns that have been expressed. One, I'd like to address Jimmy Massey's concern regarding the fact that this is basically phase 1, which covers all of the common areas. So NC1, NC2, town center, the exercise room, you get the point, the ranch, the village pools. Okay, so what he, I think, is talking about the key numbers, it has to do with more of the club rooms that have their own access. And that may be covered in phase 2. It also helps to cover the 3 gates, Roy Rogers, Walgreens, and the ranch. what I'd like to make sure now, Laura had a concern about being turned on, turned off, so that people can conceptually understand everyone in Happy Trails will have access to all common areas. That is a software program, so everyone will have that commonality. However, we do have what's called quiet hours, so that addresses the other lady's concern about can't we just get into all these areas all the time? No, our pools are supposed to be quiet hours from 10 in the morning to I think 6, sometimes 5 in the summer for those that exercise. That is a scheduled perimeter protocol that goes in. So even though I have protocols, credentials basically to be able to go into NC1, NC2 town center pools at 10 o'clock at night, I will not be able to enter those pools. So no more of the people having a party at midnight. And counting on patrol to take care of it. Another aspect we talked about is the fact that everything will lock down at 10 o'clock and then open back up at, let's say, 5 or 6. That does allow us to better use our patrol instead of them having to be accountable to drive around and lock all the buildings up and then turn around and unlock them the next morning. We might be able to engage them in some more rigorous patrols for our properties so that they're monitoring the activity within the resort and not in the common areas, if that makes sense. Excuse me. With regard to guests, you're right. Our guests are supposed to be escorted to the pool and to the hot tubs in the common areas, no problem. But what about our renters? And this was a very good asset to it in the sense that if we have a renter that's there for 1 month, when they register at the front office, they will be given the credentials of 1 month. So if they don't leave on the 31st of May, let's say that's when they're leaving, the 30th of May, and they choose to stay until the 31st or the 1st, I can't remember, 31 days in May or what. Anyway, the point being is that if they stay longer than what they're supposed to, they won't get into the common areas until their landlord comes over and says, oh yeah, we've extended them another 5 days. This is all accessible through cloud-based. Our management, if we have some type of problem at NC1, can shut down NC1 immediately so that no one can get into it. There is safety protocols in this. If you look at what Doug said, no longer do we have the golfer from Great Eagle coming in and going to Cascades to use the restrooms because it'll be locked down and he doesn't have protocols. If he lives here and he has that app, then yes, he can. But we're talking general public because that was a current concern I heard from a lot of people. So there's a lot of extra benefits here. So yes, the app is one thing we want to promote as much as possible, but you're right, there are people there that won't take their phone to the pools, so they can obviously buy a key fob and use that. That's the background I wanted to give you. If you have any questions, I'm happy to answer.
Thank you, Roberta. Do we have anyone else?
Beverly, go ahead and unmute yourself.
Well, this is Mike and Beverly on the line. One thing, I want to bring up 2 points. One is I don't think there was enough disseminative information on how this system works and what it all does. I don't remember going to any meetings on it. The second thing is you're going to be adding, if I'm right here, $100,000 to the expense budget every year. That's pretty tight now, so we got ways to bring in more money.
Thank you, Mike. Do we have anyone else?
G Yak, go ahead and unmute yourself.
Yes, thank you. I have two things to say. The first is to address the handicap presentation. I already looked into this and talked with BGM about it, and no, it is not going to assist disabled persons in entering the pools because that was deemed to not be safe for children. So if they did an adjustment to the gate mechanism so that people in wheelchairs could use the gates, then it would make it dangerous for children. So they were not going to aid or assist in disability access to the amenities. My question, and it is a comment, under what CC&R are you charging the owners to use the amenities? This works out to a charge for amenities, and I see nowhere in the CCNRs that it allows the board to make the decision to charge us to use these facilities. Which CCNR are you using?
Thank you for your comments. There is no charge to the owners for using the facilities.
Yes, you're charging us for the subscription. That's the same thing. You're charging us to use the amenities.
Was that the last one, Michelle?
No, I have two more. CKW.
Yes, this
Okay.
is Cindy Wolf, lot 843.
Let's
I really think that we're jumping the gun.
Wanda, then we'll go back, okay?
I just have one concern. My daughter does not live here in the park, but she does a lot of volunteer work. She does all the blood pressures. She has started a class for diabetics in here and everything. And how is this going to affect her?
That would be a one-off situation, Wanda, that we can discuss.
Okay.
Thank you. And who else do we have online, please?
This is Cindy, lot 843. I own a business where I use fobs and apps all the time. They're wonderful. I get that. But I don't think there's been enough information put out to the members of this community. I think the cost of this is going to be extremely high to start with. I think we need to table this, and I think somebody needs to take this to the people and let the people vote. It is our right to vote on something like this with this expense. Because in my business, after 3 years, the company I had for my door facility raised my rates 800%. After 3 years, they jumped it in 1 year, 800%. And this could happen in the same situation.
Thank you. Do we have anyone else online?
We have one more, lot 444.
Yes, this is Michelle Stoltz, lot 444. I would just like to have a clarification. I did sit in on both of the presentations that were made by the companies when this was presented in the Manzanita room. First of all, I would like to have you clarify that this does not cover any bathrooms or the laundries at this time. I think there's a misunderstanding been presented here that bathrooms will be, and it was my understanding from listening to those presentations that that was not a part of this phase because there are too many laws regarding access to bathrooms that have to be followed. Second of all, I do have a concern about the choice of the vendor. Again, I sat in on both of these presentations. At the end of the second presentation, there was a comment made that that vendor seemed to be more of an alarm. And
I'm sorry, we cannot understand you. There is a really bad connection, I believe, at your end, and we cannot understand what you're saying. I apologize. But thank you for commenting. Sir.
Steve Kinney, lot 987. And I'm just hearing a lot of concern from the neighbors. So I'd like to see, like somebody else said, that information be put out and so everybody can take a look at it and then put the vote off until perhaps October when everybody starts coming back. Because right now you can see we've got a small amount of people here, which represents a very small portion of the community.
Thank you. Donna.
I understood her. Donna 379. The bathrooms themselves will be shut. They will be locked like at 10 o'clock and then reopen at 5 o'clock. And the rest of the time it will be open. So people that are visiting will be able to go in the bathroom and use them. But it's more for security, like the library. You know how many times I've gone over there and just opened the door of the library and it was after 10 o'clock at night? So those kind of things that need to be secured will be secured. And then unlocked again, if that helps. But I think that the gentleman's right, that maybe a sheet be brought out or some kind of, because most everybody doesn't go on front steps. Somehow get what it's all about, and then maybe that will help people.
Thank you, Donna. I'm going to call for the vote.
So roll call vote. Becca Paulson?
Yes.
Cliff Drew?
Michelle Stoltz is back online with her hand up.
Yes.
Fred Rand is absent. John Chilcote?
Yes.
Jennifer Ellswick?
Yes.
Motion passes. Thank you.
I move to approve the purchase of new pool filters for an amount not to exceed $20,000 to be paid out of operations. Oh, I, Becca Paulson.
I'll second. Directors, any comments about buying new pool filters? Owners, any comments about buying new pool filters? I will call for the roll call vote.
Roll call vote. Becca Paulson?
Yes.
Cliff Drew?
Yes.
Fred Rand is absent. John Chilcote?
Yes.
Jennifer Ellswick?
Yes.
Motion passes.
I, Becca Paulson, move that the president may determine whether to call an executive session pursuant to ARS 33-1804, call executive sessions and work with management to prepare an agenda.
Do I have a second?
A second.
Directors, any comments? This motion is simply to bring us in line with the new state statute. Owners? All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. I, Jennifer Ellswick, move to approve the document retention policy.
Second.
The document retention policy was reviewed by the association's legal counsel to ensure that it follows best practices, that it follows state statute, and that it addresses both paper retention and electronic retention. Directors, any comments? Owners, any comments? I will call for the vote. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 Aye. I, Jennifer Ellswick, move to approve disbanding the BG&M committee.
Second.
Directors, do you have any comments? Owners, any comments?
Ray Smith, lot 1512. What's the reason we need to disband the Building and Grounds Committee? Could you tell me what that justification is and what it gets replaced with?
I can tell you what it's replaced with. We had two committees, the Buildings and Grounds Committee and the Landscape Committee, and we found that they were constantly bumping into each other. Therefore, a new committee has been formed. It is called the Maintain and Improve Committee, which means that not that the two committees merged, but that the responsibilities of maintaining the resort and improving the resort are now housed with one committee. I will further explain that many people from the BG&M committee and the landscape committee have filled out volunteer applications to be on the Maintain and Improve committee. But the Maintain and Improve committee is a new look and a new face for Happy Trails. So far, at last count, and this was last week, there were 38 volunteer applications for the Maintain and Improve committee. Our committees only have 7 members, but in order to have a voice from many more people in the community, the Maintain and Improve Committee is going to have a group of workers called Special Project Volunteers. And these Special Project Volunteers will have an area of expertise. And they will say, okay, I know, and I'm just picking something here, I know about cement. So if there's a cement work that needs done in the resort, a Special Project Volunteer can do the research, can talk to the contractors, can get other people to help that person with their analysis, bring it to the committee, and then the committee sits down with the committee members and all of the special project volunteers to determine if the research is good and if it's a good fit for Happy Trails. It is a forward thinking involving more people without two committees bumping into each other.
Thank you. Just seems that you're splitting up the expertise. They're two different things totally. You need engineers, people who know how to work with buildings and stuff. You have landscaping, which is a totally different discipline. And you're saying you're just going to pick experts out around to do that, right? When you need them? Or are they going to be on your committee?
Special project volunteers will have expertise in the area that they are looking at, be it landscaping, be it engineering.
Sharon, 602. Okay, so the one thing that I didn't hear was building. In BGM, building, landscaping and maintenance, grounds and maintenance. So I got the grounds and I got the maintenance. Is the building still going to be part of this committee, or has the building oversight gone away?
Building oversight will be either maintenance or improve, and it will be part of maintenance and improve committee. Good question.
Okay. Is the landscaping consideration only by the outside vendor that is now in charge of taking care of our resort?
Replacement plantings, new plantings, all sorts of different landscape type improvements.
Okay, okay, okay.
Thank you, Sharon.
So the question, Steve Kinney, 987. The question I have is, and I agree, you might as well combine the two, but the 3 people that you want to approve today, where did they come from?
When we get to the approval, we will talk about the fact that they were interviewed by the chair of the committee, the liaison, and the operations manager. So they are interviewed before. And there were actually several people were interviewed, way more than the 3 that they are asking for approval today.
So then are you going to increase that number to 7? Was that my understanding?
The number will increase when people get back in the fall because we think there may be more people that are interested in actually being on the committee versus being just a special project volunteer.
Okay.
Before we vote, I would like to thank
let me get a little closer. These glasses don't work that great. One of the questions or comments, hi everyone. Oh, okay. Since we're having some audio difficulties, we're letting the folks put or type in their comments in the chats and we'll read them.
So GYAC says the M&I committee has shown already that it is, oh, shoot. Has already shown that it is working in direct overlap and specific opponents to the contract language contained in the HomeCo's current contract. Will this setup reduce the cost of HomeCo contract or shift the responsibility to uninsured homeowners?
Not related. Thank you.
M. Aston, you need to make an announcement if your system is not working. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Okay.
That's it. That's all, sorry.
Okay. Before we vote on this, I would like to thank everyone who has served on the BG&M committee over the years. It has been a vast group of people, a diverse group of people who have brought a lot of their expertise to Happy Trails. Many of these people will be acting as special project volunteers for the Maintenance and Improve Committee, so thank you all. I'm going to call for the vote. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 I, Jennifer Ellswick, move to approve disbanding the Landscape Committee.
Second.
Directors, any comments? Owners, any comments? I would, before we vote, like to thank everyone who has served on the Landscape Committee. It was not a long-term committee like BG&M, only a couple of years, but in the couple of years, those volunteers have worked hard and have done a lot of things to attempt to improve the appearance of Happy Trails, so thank you very much. And also, many of the people from that committee will be acting as special project volunteers for the M&I committee. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 I, Becca Paulson, move to approve Terry Bader, Doug Doty, and Roberta Ernest as members of the Maintain and Improve Committee.
Second. Directors, any comments?
I just want to say I was in the interviews. We interviewed, I believe, 7 people. Very good individuals that have been picked for this committee. They've already done an enormous amount of work on some of the projects that are coming up later in this board meeting. So I would heartily recommend them for those of you who were not in the interviews.
My comment is that to just a little bit onto what Becca said, these people have been accomplishing huge amounts of stuff. They go out, they work, they're energetic, and it's very exciting to be on the board, to have a committee that is so committed to improving our resort. Owners? To call for the vote. All those in favor of approving Terry, Doug, and Roberta, please signify by saying aye.
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 I move to approve the proposal from Bellissimo Home Restorations in the amount of $34,850 for the replacement of gazebo decking, which is the flooring there, a couple joists that have been failing, and the railing to be paid out of the reserve. Item number 1700.
Second.
Sandy Green, would you please talk about the research that your committee and volunteers did and why you're recommending this?
The M&I committee is working on reserve items only. The gazebo was targeted and pointed out to be a safety hazard. There have been falls. And so there was a team of individuals. Ron Wisdom is a part of the safety committee. He is also a special project volunteer on the M&I committee. And he kind of led the group of individuals researching the gazebo decking. And there were several that worked on it, I think 5 total, that went out and sought bids, met with the contractors, collected all the information to see what exactly we were looking at. What we quickly realized after the first couple bids were the repairs that needed to be made underneath the decking that are the structural support, and taking care of them now and getting them sealed up will prevent us from having bigger expenses down the road. And so Bellissimo is the one that had the best all-around warranty. They're giving us a 1-year warranty on their workmanship. They're putting in Trex decking, which is a 25-year manufacturer warranty straight from the Trex Corporation. They can do the job prior to individuals returning for the fall, and they can start within 7 to 20 days of being under contract. Bellissimo was one of, I believe, 5 or 6. I think Ron is in the audience and he could speak to this if you needed him to. He was one, I think this is the bid that we chose. They weren't the absolute lowest, but the other lower bid did not seal and treat all of the structural damage that we have underneath and the repairs. And one of the highest bids that we received, apples to apples, was over $115,000. So Bellissimo has become one of our contractors that we have researched. They're insured. They have the ROC certification. They're fully bonded. They've been fully checked out. And I believe that they have also completed one of our cement projects for us, and they did it in a timely basis. I think that's it.
Directors, any comments? Owners, any comments?
Mickey, you can unmute yourself. Mickey, are you going to unmute yourself?
I am unmuted now. Thank you for unmuting me, Michelle. Bellissimo Home Restorations, is that the name of the company?
Yes.
Are they licensed to perform this type of work on the gazebo?
Yes.
The name on the company ownership is a familiar name to a Happy Trails owner, maybe a past owner, maybe a present owner, I'm not sure. Is there a connection with a Happy Trails owner, and does that matter?
No?
No,
No
it doesn't matter. No, it doesn't matter if they're a Happy Trails owner.
No connection.
No connection. Okay. Thank you.
Jerry, you can go ahead and unmute yourself.
Thanks for unmuting me, Michelle. I had a question about the Trex deck. My experience in Happy Trails with Trex deck is it is way too hot to walk on. We don't have that problem too much in Washington unless it's a south exposure. But down there, it is wicked, even through your shoes. Are they going to use a cooling material? I mean, do they have a different kind of Trex down there that isn't so hot? I know people down there have taken it up off their patios because it's too hot to walk on. Anyway, I don't know.
Thank you. Do we have any others?
Call for the vote. Becca Paulson? Yes. Cliff Giroux?
Yes.
Fred Rand is absent. John Chilcote?
Yes.
Jennifer Ellswick?
Yes.
Motion passes. Thank you.
I move to approve the proposal from Southwest Door and Gates in the amount of $33,776 for the upgrade and replacement of the Roy Rogers Gate to be paid out of the reserve item number 708.
Second.
Sandy?
The M&I SPVs researched the gates, and each one of the gates are on the reserve item. They're under our preferred provider amount of under $50,000, and they are in need of replacement. Roberta, Bill Rhodes, and Donna did all of the research on these gates, and so I'm going to defer to Roberta to let her fill you in on the specific details.
Yeah, good afternoon again. It was myself, Bill Rhodes, Blaine Rubish, and Donna Wisdom who met with Mason, who's the superintendent, field supervisor for Southwest Gates. All three gates are actually at zero life. They are very outdated. They also need to be brought up to code. They're out of code and most people don't realize that. The equipment is also very old. And if we try to base repair some of the equipment, we automatically need to update the gates to code standard. So by doing this all at one time, we actually are able to come up with better equipment. Otherwise, we are constantly trying to put a Band-Aid and fix gates, which will eventually surpass the actual cost of the gates now, which all come under the reserve item, a reserve fund. The Walgreens, of course, is the worst. Each gate was done individually so that the board could make a determination if they could do if they wanted to do all three, or if they wanted to do them at different times. The Walgreens gate is actually already broke. Most people don't know that. We have a free exit system on the loop there, so everybody can go out with no cost. Basically, we went with the preferred contract with Southwest Gates because they've been working our gates for quite a while. And to tell you how out of date they are, the code changed in 2016. So there you go. Any questions for me?
I just want you to talk about one item, not really a question, but about some of the safety aspects, whereas the new gates would sense a car going through and not close until, there's no metal there, those types of things, please.
Yeah, sure. We have, it's actually called 3-loop system. So you have a safety loop that's built in there. What happens is most people think it's a pressure point, but it's not. It's a loop that actually detects the metal. So when the gate opens, we won't talk about the control mechanism, but when the gate opens and the car's going through, if the car gets stuck in the middle or a member just stops in the middle of the gate, there's a loop there that detects metal, and that keeps the gate from closing back in on the car itself. I think that's what you're talking about, correct?
Yes. We've had multiple problems with gates closing on cars and so on with the ones that we have now.
Right. That's one of the updated features on this, is we have the updated equipment.
Owners?
Marie Beshan, lot 900. On this gate or any of the other gates, was there any opportunities to include a pedestrian gate?
So it has been recommended highly several times that we've talked about the gates over the several years, not to have a pedestrian gate inside the actual car gate because of the transfer of vehicles back and forth and the traffic in general. Since another project has been voted on to go through, what will help us out is that if you think about a bicyclist or somebody with a golf cart that doesn't have a transponder, they can use their actual app to open the gate, so they, or a walker that takes their phone with them, they can get in and out of the gate that way. That kind of precludes us having to have an actual pedestrian gate.
Steve Kenny, 9987. Can we do without the arm?
Yes, I'm sorry. I failed to mention that. Thank you very much. We are not putting the barrier arms on the gates with the updated equipment. We can, since we have the safety loop in there that will detect metal, we can actually program that gate to shut within 5 seconds after the car goes through. So it really does help to monitor those bumper tags that we call coming into the facility, and that'll work.
Thank you, Roberta. Any?
Aaron, you can unmute yourself.
Okay, hi. So a couple of things. Somebody or Sandy said that we could do these if it's under $50,000. So there's, 3 gates. The total would be 123,315. So are we going to pursue these each gate separately, or are we going to combine them and buy them all? And then also Roberta mentioned one of the gates, like where it's from 216, so it's not even any good, and it's only been 10 years. So how long are these new gates, like, livability will be? I mean, 10 years, that seems a little, not very long to have a gate.
So the gates themselves are zero life, and Roy Rogers was put in 1997, and Walgreens was put in 1999. The equipment itself is also at about the 2018 timeframe. The code was changed in 2016 for the gates having to be up to code, meaning the bars had to be more narrow. Right now, you can put a fist through them. I don't know who would walk up and put their fist through them, but that is the new code standard. So if we're going to update equipment and we don't change out the gates, which are at zero life, we have to put some type of a meshing on the gate, which I heard looks kind of crappy, don't know, in order to bring it up to code. So anything we do with the equipment automatically requires us to bring the gates up to code. The gates, again, are zero life. Roy Rogers put in 1997. Walgreens put in 1999.
Okay, so are these
40-year life is what I'm understanding.
Okay. So these new gates are probably being put in to accommodate the new fob control system we're trying to put together?
They do not at this point. They will be added to, they are already added onto the access points of the new system that was voted in earlier this afternoon.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Thank you. Do I have anyone else?
Roll call vote. Becca Paulson,
Yes.
Cliff Giroux,
Yes.
John Chilcote,
Yes.
Jennifer Alswick.
Yes.
Motion passes. Thank you.
This was for the Roy Rogers gate.
Yes.
I move to approve the proposal from Southwest Doors and Gates in the amount of $28,676 for the upgrade and replacement of the Walgreens gate to be paid out of reserve item number 708.
Second.
Directors? I believe that the explanation that Roberta gave and that Sandy started is applicable also to the Walgreens gate. The same group of people that looked at the Roy Rogers gate also looked at the Walgreens gate and did all of the research on that gate. Owners, are there any questions? I mean to call.
Okay, roll call vote. Becca Paulson,
Yes.
Cliff Giroux,
Yes.
John Chilcote,
Yes.
Jennifer Elswick.
Yes.
Motion passes. Thank you.
I move to approve the proposal from Southwest Doors and Gates in the amount of $25,763 for the upgrade and replacement of the range gate to be paid out of reserves item number 708.
I second.
This gate would have been the same research by the same team who did the other gates. Do I have any owners? I'm going to call for the
Roll call vote. Becca Paulson,
Yes.
Cliff Giroux,
Yes.
Fred is absent. John Chilcote,
Yes.
Jennifer Elswick.
yes.
Motion passes. Thank you.
I move to approve the proposal from Centro Painters in the amount of $104,980 for the painting of exterior buildings and structures based on the RFQ to be paid out of reserve item number 1115 and 1116.
Sandy, will you please share what your,
Second.
Sandy, will you please share what your SVPs did with respect to this?
Yes. 2 years ago, the BG&M and the Landscape Committee both were working hand in hand on repairing stucco cracks and painting all of the buildings within the resort. Landscape had the color palette design approved. All of that work was done, and then it was put on hold because there wasn't reserve monies to be able to allocate to repairing the stucco cracks, sealing the windows, the doors, and taking care of the buildings because the roofs cost us so much money instead of the roads. So these bids were done about a year ago by 2 of the contractors that we called. And then we had another contractor come out and do the bid just to see if everything was in the right place. I believe it was Steve Farthing that wrote the RFQ for the resort painting of all buildings. This bid includes all of the stucco repair that is throughout the resort everywhere. We cannot just fix the stucco cracks. It's a synthetic type material. The more worn it gets, when there's a crack, it will start removing and falling off. And if you try and fix a stucco crack and you don't paint over it, you're going to see it. And it's going to be a huge eyesore. If anybody has driven down Happy Trails Boulevard, you'll see on the outside of the post office building where we had different colors, and there's like 5 different colors, and it looks like water damage up on top. And it's not actually water damage, it's just different touch up, trying to touch up paint, and it looks terrible. So the maintain and improve, there were, I believe, 12 of us, along with Becca, at the table. We went out. We had 4 different painting contractors come in to give bids. And this is for lots and lots of stucco repair work, lots and lots of sealing, caulking. It's for a specific type of paint that has and they have provided us with that warranty. It is also zero life in the reserve. And we also have included that our pool fencing be painted along in this bid. Our pool fencing around each one of our swimming pools, they're up for total replacement, but they are in such great shape that it made no sense to even look at replacing those pool fences. It made way more sense to paint them. So with that said, CertaPro, we'll have a project person on board. It's one of the favorites that BG&M had. I talked to Steve farthing about this quite a bit. The other bids were substantially higher, and CertaPro, the contractor that we have recommended to you guys, is a Sherwin-Williams Pro commercial painter. 70% of their business is commercial painting, 30% is residential. They are licensed, bonded, insured, and they come with great references. All of the people that were the SPVs working on this, about 12 of us, we all talked, we all emailed, and everybody was in a unanimous decision that CertaPro was fantastic. They met everything on the RFQ. Anytime we had a question, we had several things we wanted added to their proposal, and they added them within 20, 30 minutes and sent us back, and quite a few of us talked with them. And I think that's it. And this is for a lot of painting. This is Town Center, Shuffleboard Building, Neighborhood Center 1, Neighborhood Center 2, Cascade Center Building, Villa, the Villa Pool Area Building, the Ranch House, the Guardhouse, all the Tough Sheds, the 2 that are behind Town Center, the Horseshoe Sheds, the Car Wash, the Sawmill, all of the wood lids and beams, the wood fences and the rails, the pony walls, the pool iron, all the handrails, wood doors, metal doors, downspouts, all exterior masonry repairs that we need done, and there's a lot of them. All the roll-up doors, the bullards, the pre-painted utility boxes, the identified light poles and hanging metal lights and the vehicle gates at the ranch, and then also at Roy Rogers. On each side of those gates that are going in, we have some rails that are fenced in. The gates will be black, and then we need to have those painted as well, and that's included in this bid.
I have a quick question. Does it include the car wash?
Yes.
If you said that, I missed it. I'm sorry. Owners?
Okay, roll call vote. Becca Paulson,
Yes.
Cliff Giroux,
Yes.
Fred Rand is absent, John Chilcote,
Yes.
Jennifer Elswick.
Yes.
Motion passes. Thank you.
And as we've approved that, I would just like to say thank you to the M&I committee and the special project volunteers who walked around this community with painter after painter to make certain that all of Happy Trails exterior painting was included in this bid.
I move to approve the proposal from Valley Painting in the amount of $56,808 for repairs, rebuilding, and painting of brick wall from Bell Road to the trash site, to be paid out of reserve item number 502.
Second.
Sandy? The wall.
So the block wall painting was probably the one project that was the biggest struggle for all of us that were working together on this project. I would say the majority of us were all in the same frame of mind. Why in the world would anybody paint a brick wall? I think Doug Doty's there now and he can probably shake his head. But what we ended up concluding, we had not one, but 7 different block wall painting, repairing, rebuilding bids that we went out to get. And the reason being is the first bid we received was so much money, we were losing our mind. And we have 4 problematic areas down Happy Trails Boulevard with our block walls. The walls are actually leaning in 4 different areas, and our option was tear those 4 sections down and rebuild those 4 sections. And that was going to cost us quite a bit of money, more money than anybody wanted to pay for just repairing a block wall. It was like $37,000 to repair those 4 sections. And then those 4 sections would look completely different than the rest of the walls down Happy Trails Boulevard. And that $37,000 that we would have needed to spend would not address all the other cracks and breaking of the other spots down Happy Trails Boulevard. I think there's like 38. I think Ron's there. Ron walked that wall more than any of us. But I think there was 38 other sections where we have to do mortar and filling and patching on that brick wall. Doug Doty is a cement guy, and Doug was big on what needs to happen. And when we all sat at the table, the best option we found is if we wanted to replace all of that Happy Trails Boulevard wall, it's $50 a square foot. And we don't even want to talk about what that would be to make it look all uniform and be perfect. So Valley Painting was absolutely amazing. They worked with us. They came out. They answered any question at the drop of a hat. Terry Bader, Doug, myself, Roberta, Donna, Ron, we all had things we wanted added. We wanted changed. Would they do this? Would they not do that? And what it comes down to is we have 4 sections of wall that need to be 3/4 of the way rebuilt. We have about 38 spots that need to be repaired with masonry. And if we don't paint over it, you're going to see all these repair cracks. You're going to see it. It's going to stand out like a sore thumb. Valley Painting has been very successful in the work that they've done. They've given us lots of references. They have a system where they're using a very special primer to paint over the bottom of our walls where we have water damage. And it's not going to fix that problem. It's not going to be perfect. Eventually that will seep through, but the plan is to utilize this specialized primer. They will top coat 2 finished top coats over the top of that. And then they've chose to do 2 separate colors. The pillar posts be one darker color and the wall panel itself be a different color. And then they're guessing 7 to 10 years, we're going to start seeing the water damage come through again. And the idea is to then touch up paint the bottom 3 rows of that block wall in the darker color of the pillars to help mask that, to give a longer time frame for the painting of the wall. Happy Trails Board quite a few years ago did a test paint on a section of brick wall. It's up by the Great Eagle off of Bell Road, and it was painted 6-7 years ago, and it still looks immaculate, in great condition, and has not been touched up in any way, shape, or form. So we know the longevity is there, and the paint gets better every year. And these guys are saying that we're not going to be needing to worry about repainting for at least 10 years is what they're telling us. No guarantee on that. You know how that goes.
Owners?
Doug Doty, lot 630. Just a quick correction, Sandy. It's not
Sorry, Doug.
$50. It's not $50 a square foot, a lineal foot. And that's for a 6-foot high wall. That includes footings and everything that goes to code with that. So just getting rid of some sticker shock. Square foot and lineal foot is, as you well know, is a big, big difference. So.
Thank you, Doug.
All right.
Appreciate it.
Marie Beschen, lot 900. It's no secret I've never been in favor of painting that wall, so this is no shock. I agree that we need to fix the wall in those areas and stuff. My feeling has been we already have 75% of the shrubs along that wall. Fill in where the shrubs are not there. The sprinkler system is already, the irrigation is already there. Continue with the irrigation. You go down 175th Street and you'll see nothing but shrubs all the way down 175th in front of their brick wall, their concrete wall, and you can't even see the wall. So the shrubs cover the wall and you won't even see it. It will continue to degrade because of the water damage that will continue. As far as the wall along Bell Road and stuff, it doesn't show because it doesn't flake because there is no irrigation on that. This will continue to flake because of the irrigation. There is no stopping it. We will have to paint and repaint and repaint. That's the reality. And I will tell you that one of the bids, at least, and I know this for a fact, the first words out of his mouth was, "It will continue to flake."
Thank you, Marie. Any other owners?
Okay, roll call vote. Becca Paulson,
Yes.
Cliff Giroux,
Yes.
Fred is absent. John Chilcote,
Yes.
Jennifer Elswick. Ooh,
Yes.
motion passes. Thank you. Hello? Motion passes.
I move to approve the proposal from Landmark Aquatic for the installation of Cool Deck at NC1 in the amount of $38,990 to be paid out of the reserve item number 1200.
Second.
Sandy?
Me? Brad?
I think this is Brad.
Me?
You guys were doing such a good job. I'm taken back. Yes, Landmark Aquatic is the vendor that we had redo our deck at NC2. They're also the one the board approved to get started on Town Center once they're done with the surface of the pool crack. We've liked our experience with them so far, so we threw NC1 at them as well. NC1 was the one more worse for wear, in my opinion. It's been overlooked, so it's time for this one to get done as well.
Sandy, I believe your committee also looked at all the pool decks and agree that NC1 is in need.
Yeah, NC1 has a lot of chipping and damage to it. Cascades, Ranch, and Villa. Yes, Villa has some hairline cracks, but there's no safety per se hazard. So nobody's tripping and falling. It doesn't look trashed and bashed. Terry Bader and Doug Doty, along with Ron and Donna Wisdom, all put visual eyes on it. I looked at it before I left. Everybody was pretty much in agreement that all of the other cool decking is something that can just wait further down the road. Nothing other than NC1 really needs to have more cool deck done. And it needs to be more of a phased process because there's maintenance that will need to be done and sealing on those cool decks once they're put in place.
Owners?
Roll call vote. Becca Paulson,
Yes.
Cliff Giroux,
Yes.
Fred is absent. John Chilcote,
Yes.
Jennifer Elswick.
Yes.
Motion passes. Thank you.
I, Becca Paulson, move to approve the proposal from Basurdo General Contractor in the amount of $13,387.92 to remove and replace the beams at Cascades to be paid out of reserve. It says asset improvement, but I'm pretty sure it's coming out of reserve. Oh, I got an old one. Reserve item number 1116.
Becca, please hold on just a moment. There's two different motions. One is for Town Center and one is for Cascades. So the one at Cascades, is that a reserve item as well?
Yes.
Yes, it's part of the roof. So we need to change that too. Okay, let me back up and do the other one, sorry. I must have them the other way around. I, Becca Paulson, move to approve the proposal from Basurdo General Contractor in the amount of $27,682 to remove, repair, replace the fascia and columns in the town center to be paid out of reserves item 1116.
I'll second. Directors? owners. I would only like to say, I would like to say that the beams in the town center have been kind of crumbling and falling on people's heads for maybe 2 years now. So that was my comment on the beams at town center.
Hello, Jimmy Massey, 507. What kind of time frame are we looking to have these repairs done? Will they be completed by the next season when the residents start coming back?
Sandy, you want to address that question, please? What time frame are we looking at?
I can kind of help out here too, if needed.
Go ahead. Brad.
I did talk with Baserta before this and double check that schedule. They're ready to start as soon as possible.
When will they?
Once the contract's approved, they're ready to start. So
What about the completion? That's what I was worried about.
yeah, they don't expect it to last more than 2 weeks. So once they start, hopefully, give about a week for the contract to come through and get signed, and then 2 weeks from there.
Okay, thank you.
Aaron, you can unmute yourself.
Hi, this is Aaron. All right, so yeah, I was just looking at this. So Baserto, you've got 3 contracts out for him, one to do the gazebo, one for NC1, and then the other 27,000 for.
Real quick, that's not correct. Bellissimo is the one doing the gazebo. Baserto will be the ones doing the town center and the Cascade beams.
Okay, because I was trying to see, because one's out of the reserve fund, one's out of the operating fund. Why do I show him doing all 3 of them? Okay. All right, okay. Just want to check and see how come some come out of one reserve fund and the other comes out of the operating budget.
Anyone else?
God, you guys are too much.
Mickey, you can go and unmute yourself.
Thank you. I have a question about the company Baserto General Contractor. They have 2 different types of licenses. One of their licenses is suspended and they have pending cases against them. They have closed cases against them. Their general small commercial contractor license is active. Have you done extensive research on this company and checked their surety bond and other insurance to make sure they're a good company for us?
Sandy, you want to speak?
Yes, we have. And the commercial side of their business was his brother. So that's a different entity and it is not him himself. He is the person that the golf course, Great Eagle, sought after 2 years to come in and finish up Jason's roof beam. And he was referred to us by Jason for this. The BG&M received 2 or 3 other bids also. And since Baserto, we could see the work, see what he did, comes recommended from Jason McKinney at the golf course, decided to go with them as the recommendation. He was the most fair price. The other ones were just far out of our price range. But his bond, his insurance, and his ROC is completely intact and legit.
Okay, it shows the same owner for both licenses. That's why I question it. Jorge Alberto Baserto Sandoval. So the same owner had both licenses. So I just want to make sure that you have done your research on them and you are comfortable with your choice. Thank you.
I am absolutely totally comfortable with it. Any recommendation, and we could see the work. I can't guarantee his work. I can't guarantee anybody's work, but me personally, I am comfortable with it. And maintain and improve committee are not the ones that did the actual research. The BG&M did, but we are in full support of everything that they did on the BG&M, and I have full faith that it'll be great.
This is Doug again at 6:30. We did research them. And companies that hold more than one license can have the same license name on them. They're just a qualifier. And so with that in mind, when we interviewed Jorge and the other contractors, I personally felt more comfortable. We had 4 different contractors come out. They were all very good. And I would use any of them again and ask them for prices again. So Jorge with Basurdo did come up and own up to say that he would salvage the metal that is on this trim and reutilize it. The other 3 couldn't say that. So we're going with that, and he's standing behind what he spoke.
Thank you, Doug.
Roll call vote. Becca Paulson,
Yes.
Cliff Giroux,
Yes.
John Chilcote,
Yes.
Jennifer Elswick.
Yes.
Motion passes. Thank you.
I, Becca Paulson, move to approve the proposal from Basurdo General Contractor in the amount of $13,387.92 to remove and replace the beams at Cascades to be paid out of reserve funds.
I'll second. I believe that the conversation is pretty much the same. The same people, Doug and et cetera, spoke to him and showed him the repair that needs to be done at Cascades, as well as the repair that needed to be done at Town Center. If you online can see, Doug is shaking his head that yes, that is what took place. Owners, any questions? Comments? Roll call vote.
Roll call vote. Becca Paulson,
Yes.
Cliff Giroux,
Yes.
Fred Grant is absent. John Chilcote,
Yes.
Jennifer Elswick.
Yes.
Motion passes. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for attending in person. It is outrageously hot out there, but it is relatively cool in here, so that's a good thing. And also for those of you who attended virtually. Just a little update. We have invited Detective McGonigal of the Surprise Police Department to attend the May Town Hall meeting, the June Town Hall meeting, to share information about the complaint of embezzlement filed with the Surprise Police Department. We will continue to invite the detective through the fall to see if at some point he takes us up on our explanation and comes to Happy Trails to explain this complaint. The second thing that I would like to address is really critical, and it is that there is rumor of a special assessment circling around the resort. I do not follow Facebook. It's simply not my thing, but I have heard from people that there are comments on Facebook. I have heard that there are people chatting in pools, etc., that there is a special assessment of $5,000 to $10,000. I want to say right here, right now, this is not true. So if you hear anyone speaking about a special assessment, please say it is not true. And if they have questions, to please ask the board or ask management. This is a false rumor circulating around the resort. The presentation by Becca earlier is an excellent explanation of our funds. It will be sent out in an e-blast to drop at around 4 o'clock this afternoon, and it will also be posted on Front Steps. And Becca says that she will be more than happy to answer anyone's questions about what she presented. I have a couple other comments that kind of go along with what Becca said. The reserve fund. 25% of your monthly maintenance fee goes to the reserve fund. The board passed a motion that no more than 85% of the reserve funds collected in a year will be spent. The remaining 15% will be added to the reserve fund balance, increasing our reserves fund strength. The roads and roofs not only took all of the reserve money collected in a year, but also dipped into the reserve fund balance, which is what hurt our reserves over the last couple of years. The reserve fund is for maintaining and/or replacing Happy Trails assets as defined by the reserve study. So this board has taken a very proactive stance that no more than 85% of that collected in a year will be spent. As Becca mentioned, if we have a catastrophe, heaven forbid that we have a catastrophe, we do have money in the reserves. We also have a $1 million cushion in our asset improvement fund. The asset improvement fund, every time a home sells, 12 months of monthly maintenance fee is collected and goes into the asset improvement fund. This board passed a motion that 1 million will remain in the asset improvement fund. So therefore, as Becca mentioned, we have this cushion. The purpose of the asset improvement fund is, if needed, to help with unanticipated reserve fund costs and to fund the purchase of new assets to improve our community. I want to share something that a friend of mine mentioned to me, and it is definitely food for thought. If you have someone clean your home twice a month, the cost is approximately $200 to $300. That does not include any maintenance on your home, any repair or replacement to your home. It simply includes cleaning your home. For $238.23, starting July 1st, we get cleaning, maintenance, repair, and replacement of town center, neighborhood buildings, pools, spas, grounds, and many other assets. The $238.23 per month also includes our water, sewer, and trash. Just a little bit of food for thought when you think about that monthly maintenance fee, all the things that it does cover. If you're leaving Happy Trails to travel, please travel safely. If you are already home and online, I hope you arrived home safely. If you are staying in Happy Trails, enjoy the Happy Trails summer activities that our volunteers and Amy, our activities director, are always putting on and announcing new things each week. Thank you all for coming. Darlene?
I just have a couple things. Thank you all for being here. I know that we have created a we are creating a management ad hoc committee to look at options for a new management company. We were asking for applications for each section. We have finally received that. So those members for that committee will be picked at the August board meeting. Next thing, I know it's been very hot, and if you are having an issue where your air conditioner goes out while you're here, please let us know. We will we have the pack here open if anything like that happens, if you need a place to stay. Let us know or patrol know and we can make arrangements for you. Please just be careful. I know it's really hot out there. Make sure you drink a lot of water, stay hydrated, and stay safe. Thank you.